Here we go.
Yeah.
The proven formula for social media success.
5 keys, 5 steps to
5
help.
best practices.
Yeah.
And maybe if we have time, the 5 biggest mistakes.
Definitely.
And we have made some mistakes
let's
together.
go.
How long have we
That's how
known
we
each
learn.
other now?
10 years. 10 years.
I remember when Kenny was at our church 10 years ago and he didn't even have hair in his armpits. And now he's married,
Yes.
met a gal at our church, and
Yes.
just
Fell
serving
in
the Lord.
love.
So proud of you. So my name's Justice, if we don't know each other yet. And I started Freedom Church 11 years ago, and in my apartment. And by
Let's
the
go.
grace of God, it grew into thousands of people in multiple locations.
Yeah.
And the social media side of church
It's
is
crucial.
yeah.
Essential.
How many newcomers receptions have we been at where we say raise your hand if
Yeah. It's
You
like
know,
90% of the room each time.
yeah, how'd you find about the church? It's like, oh, Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah, TikTok, whatever it was. And a lot of that stuff is you, my guy.
Yeah.
And
I try. And our team, our incredible creative team.
Yeah. So for a few years now, I've been doing coaching for pastors, and it's I don't want to get too much into it, but basically we started a few years ago. Pastors would either drive in or fly in,
Yeah.
and we would meet every month, and then we turned that into a Zoom where I would helping churches break 200 barrier, 500
go,
barrier,
yeah.
or whatever. Always loved helping pastors reach the unchurched. But
Definitely.
the number one thing that pastors have to struggle with is
Social media.
yeah, because no one ever comes to your church ever without going to your Instagram
Yep.
or without watching a podcast or
Yep.
listening to it first.
Gotta
I mean, I've
hit
never
all
met
the-
anybody who did not want to know what that church was about before they walked through the front door.
Definitely.
We used to have a team at the church, back in the early 2000s where it was like, the first impressions team, and that was like the signage and all that kind of stuff. But that's not your first impression anymore. Dude. The first impression is what you're putting out online.
Straight on the phone.
People are already deciding if they're going to like show up or not or bring their friends. So, so here's the 5 things, that we have discovered.
Yeah.
You put these 5 things together, you're going to have, it's a proven success formula. So
Definitely.
number 1 is what?
Stop the scroll.
What does stop the scroll mean?
You got to get these people attention, man. People keep watching on their phones or look at content for 3 seconds. So you got 3 seconds to impact them, get them to stop, get them to focus in on what you're trying to tell.
It's so true. We've made some great clips, great teaching clips, bangers, super good content and edifying, but nobody watched it because they
It's too much.
didn't grab them in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I see the common mistake is like, hey, this is so-and-so from such and such church.
Too long.
Yeah, no one's going to watch
past.
that.
Next one.
Hey, I just want to jump on here real quick and say, too late. You know what I mean? You gotta, I hate to say it, but you gotta get some sort of hook.
Just get right in it.
It really sounds like kind of gimmicky to say that, but before I was a pastor, I worked in advertising and marketing for a living, and my job was to help, people discover local businesses, and you have to get there. It's so much harder now, but
Definitely, yeah.
you have to jump on with some sort of. You have any experience with that? Like, do you have a story or anything of somebody who?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, newcomers reception alone, like we had one of my friends I invited to church after she reached out to me because she stumbled across our page organically. No one sent her anything. And the first thing that caught her was it was a sermon reel about one of your preachings, but it was about Marvel and Thanos. So when she saw all of that, it stopped her and it hooked her. Later that she checked out the church, she came to the church and
I love that.
she ended up getting saved, and it impacted her life forever all through that one clip.
Amazing.
Easy to see, easy to follow along.
Yeah.
And relatable.
Yeah. So, which probably brings me to like the next point, after you can get their attention is like, who is your target audience? Determine your target audience.
Yeah.
I think some pastors are their social media is about kind of helping their own church,
Definitely.
which I think you got to pick.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a church Instagram full of announcements,
It's boring.
Yeah. I mean, what was I telling you about the other day about a marriage conference we're doing, it's just like, dude, most people are not going to go to that marriage conference, or most people aren't going to go to the youth group event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. So like, I don't know how much I want to spend time on putting that on there when I might want to put a clip about building a strong marriage.
Yeah.
And then in the caption say, hey, here's our thing,
Register.
So, so determine your audience. Are you trying to reach, people outside of your church? Because this is how you do it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've had numerous people, like we said, newcomers, they all come because they check out the social media first.
Yeah,
It's
so
impactful.
I would say that's number 2 is like, you got to find in advertising, they call it your niche,
Yeah.
like you got to aim toward the target, and what is that target? And if the target is people who don't go to your church yet, that's the paradigm you want for content creators.
Yeah, it goes into the next step, which is think evangelism, not discipleship.
Step number 3,
Yep.
evangelism, reaching people who are far from God, Fern, what did you tell me? One of our creative directors is, do you have a mic on? What did you say about the grace and truth thing you said to me earlier?
Shout grace so that the people far from him can hear what he's done, but speak truth so that people who draw near to him and to you can get to know him.
How good is that, dude? Shout grace.
We got to clip that.
But speak, yeah, we do. But speak truth, right?
Yeah.
And like how I think our social media platforms should be shouting grace.
Definitely.
Like it should be evangelistic. It should be encouraging and
Yeah.
uplifting, and really, honestly, it should be adding value, which is the way they would say it, like in a business course, to people's feed. They got so much garbage going on. And then if you can shout grace, if you can let them know that there's a God who loves them and is for them, or you can give them something for their, for their life that adds value. Like, oh, I want that. I want to hear more about that. I think the biggest mistake, besides the stop the scroll problem, is really pastors are trying to put mini sermons.
Yeah, too much.
And people really aren't on Instagram or TikTok for sermons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's more for YouTube.
Definitely. Yeah.
So if they were in a sermon mood, they would be watching long form content, but
Yep.
they're not in a sermon mood.
Yeah.
So
It's quick.
you want to just give them a little something that just the kind of thing that I think it brings us to point number 4 is the call to action.
Oh, yeah.
Are you creating this so that they will like it, or are you creating this so that they'll share it?
That's the biggest part. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people always want to go for the likes. Oh my gosh, this post got this many likes and
Yeah.
this post got this many comments, but that really does nothing because those are just normally the people that you're already seeing on your page.
Right.
So the best way is when you get people to share.
Yeah.
Send it to people who aren't on your page, and that's what draws them in.
I love that. So that's our biggest metric. You just press that one button, view
Yeah.
insights.
Yeah.
And when I click view insights, it says either, it says this many people who are following you and this many people who weren't following you saw it.
Yes.
And I want the not following you.
to be huge.
Right. And then you just press that little arrow and it says, 50 people, 100 people
Yeah.
shared this. And so really think evangelism, not discipleship.
Yeah.
The call to action is the share. And then the
Yes.
last thing is really just be consistent.
Yep.
You need 3 at least posts,
least.
a week, a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type of run, put a quote graph up, put a sermon reel up, put something that people want to share.
Yeah.
And don't miss. Keep that
Definitely.
going, and that's what the algorithm rewards.
Yeah.
Just that consistency.
Yes.
And I think that brings us to kind of like the service that we are starting for pastors.
Let's go.
So just trying to, what does the sign say behind me, bro?
Keep it uncomplicated.
That's our theme. I don't want to mess with this.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to watch my sermon back. I don't want to I don't want to tell you which clips to quote
Yeah.
from my sermon. Like, I'm done preaching and I don't want to do that. I'm on to the next thing. And like, you guys have gotten so good at like finding a 30-second clip or,
Oh, yeah.
or, I'll tell you a quote that, you can type up, and that's the stuff that people share, know? And so what we've done is we started a service where we're helping pastors keep it uncomplicated.
Yep.
And we're just doing it for them.
Yeah.
And, I sound like such a D-bag. I'm not gonna say that D-bag. But like we're like really good at it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's we're like top 20 churches to follow.
Yes.
Or like, Life Church hit us up this week,
Mhm.
right? The
Come
biggest
on,
church.
the
And like, hey,
biggest
let's jump on
church.
the phone. Like, and we're always copying their stuff. And
Yeah,
they
always.
hit us up, and Christianity Today called us the top 5 fastest growing church you'd ever heard of.
Yeah.
You'd ever heard of. So I just sound like it sounds like a loser saying that, but like, we have some credibility.
Yeah, come
and
on.
it's you guys, it's you,
Yes.
it's Fern, it's our creative team. And people all the time are like, well, it's easy for you because you have thousands of people and a full-time creative director.
Nope.
Actually, no, we don't have a full-time creative director, right? That's
Yeah.
not how that works.
That's not how it works.
You give me 3 pieces of content a week.
Yeah.
Fern gives 3 pieces of content a week, and that's what we do. You
Yeah.
know, and if you're a pastor and you're watching this, and you know, 85% of churches in America are under 250. And you don't have somebody that you're paying to do that. We'll
Yeah.
do it for you.
Let's
you
go.
know, we'll give you. You tell us by Sunday night, what your quote is. We'll have a quote graph for you to share, right?
Yeah.
If you don't tell us the timestamp of what sermon clip you want, we'll find it, we'll put it, we'll caption it, we'll give it to you, you know? And that way you can have those 3 pieces a week. Maybe you do have a great creative team and you just want 3 more pieces a week.
Definitely, yeah.
Or, you know, or whatever our package is, 5 more pieces, or if you need sermon series or whatever it is. But you guys have done such an incredible job with your talents and your gifts, reaching people who are far from God. I'm just so excited to introduce this to my pastor friends, you know, so that they can have some momentum, you know, and they can be doing what they want to do and not thinking about this, because I know how to edit, man. Like I said, I have an advertising background. Like I know I don't want to spend any time.
Yeah.
And I know it's so effective. And yet it's just like everything else takes my time. And so I hope this service is of value to you. But let's go over the 5 things again. Number 1 was
stop the scroll.
Yep.
You got to determine your audience. You got to think evangelism, not discipleship. And then you have to also be able to
be consistent. Yeah. And that's what we will help you do. The pieces of content that we give you will take care of all 5 of those things. But even if you don't subscribe to our service, we hope that this is a video that you could pass on to your creative team or the person running your social. And man, we love you. God bless you. We know that God wants to send people to your church. Definitely. He wants their lives to be changed, and he's put you in their life. And he's given you a gift. I hope you will. No pastor wants to promote themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the worst.
Yeah.
We have more followers and more impact on our Freedom page than we do my personal page, because I don't want to post my own stuff, you know? and it's so rare. Usually it's like the pastor has the following, and our church is way more impactful than mine, because I don't want to do it. But we'll give you that content every week. So now I'm starting to put it on my own page, you know, you can put it on the church page and your page. Use it
how you want it.
I was actually in jiu-jitsu earlier today, and I was about to fight this man. And he just stopped me. He goes, "Hey, I just want to say, I was watching your Instagram and I saw this clip. And instead of grappling, he just told me how he wants to bring his nephew to church, and they haven't been to church in forever." And, you know, that's really it. Yeah. You know, it's the same thing we hear of, like, I saw this, you know, I was struggling with anxiety. It was 3 a.m. I saw the clip about anxiety, and now here I am the next day, so this is effective. And
social media is like the biggest tool that the church has gotten in the past, I don't know, what existed 20 years. Like, it's time for us to use it and get some more people to know Jesus.
Let us do it for you. Let us give you 3 pieces or 4 pieces or 5 pieces a week, so you can just do it.
It works.